Hello and welcome to another episode of 28 Days of Blackness. Today we have with us Janine Brown, and she'll be talking about Betty Shabazz. So we're going to get right into it. Janine, can you tell us a little bit about Betty's earlier life?
So Betty was born Betty Sanders in 1934. It's kind of debated if she was born in Georgia or born in Detroit, but there's been speculation that she was born in an abusive household and then she went on to be adopted and she was raised in Detroit. Her parents sent her to Tuskegee Institute where she wanted to study education. But during that time before she went there, they kind of sheltered her a lot. Didn't really give her the realities of segregation and racism. So when she arrived in Alabama, she faced a very difficult time, hard transitioning, and that ultimately forced her to leave school and relocate back up to the north.
Okay, Janine, that is very interesting. So she had a pretty rough go at it when it comes to education in the South. Did she stay there?
No, so she decided to relocate to New York City, and she also decided to change her course of study, and she decided to go into nursing. And so as you can see, the education field and the nursing field, you can kind of see where her passion for helping people came from with her courses of study. During that time, she met Malcolm. She was going to different meetings through the Nation of Islam, and even though she didn't have a desire to convert at the time, she enjoyed the messages that he was sending through his speeches and his talks. Eventually, they became very acquainted and ultimately fell in love and got married, and it was at that time she decided to convert to Islam.
Thank you so much, Janine. So, they got married. What was life like for Betty Shabazz after marriage?
So the two of them had 6 children, 6 girls, and Malcolm became increasingly popular within the Nation of Islam. He's going on tour, he's doing a lot of speeches, and so she was definitely holding down the fort in the family while he was doing that. But also at the same time, she began to become a leader in her own right, doing a lot of volunteer work within the Nation of Islam as well, and then also with the Negro League, Negro Women's League in the NAACP.
Wow. And this lasted up into his departure from the Nation of Islam, correct?
Yes. Hate began to brew within the organization, and some people didn't necessarily like how popular he was becoming, and so he started to receive a lot of death threats during that time, and so Betty definitely was his support system as they made the joint decision to leave the Nation of Islam and convert to Sunni Muslims.
And this is around the time of Malcolm's pilgrimage, correct?
Yes.
All right. So, we understand that this story has its own level of tragedy. So can you speak to that?
Yes, soon after his pilgrimage, he was assassinated in front of his family while she was pregnant, I think with their youngest. And so the level of trauma that family had to endure during that time is unspeakable. Uncertainty, depression, all of those things that are associated with trauma, and it's evident that she needed to seek out a new level of spirituality. So at that time, she decided to make her pilgrimage and make a Hajj to Mecca, and where she found a renewed spirit. And then we see Betty re-emerge as a leader in her own right to carry on her husband's legacy.
Triumph in the face of adversity is something that Black women have been doing for centuries. Can you tell us a little bit more about Betty's accomplishments after the death of Malcolm X?
Yes. So at that time, she returned from Mecca with a renewed spirit, re-energized, and she decided to return back to that education degree, which she finished at our very own Jersey City State College, now in JCU. And then she pursued her higher degree at University of Massachusetts. And so we can see through her life's course that, she still had that commitment for the success of Black and brown students, And so she maintained a position at Medgar Evers University in New York, where she was the director of institutional advancement for students of color. Betty began to take on her own speaking engagements, giving talks on the themes of Black nationalism, self-reliance, and student success. And she continued to advocate for the success of Black and brown students until her death in 1997.
So that's amazing, and her story definitely, is very, very inspiring. Now, how does that inspire you to do what you do for our community?
Well, I think her work kind of set the stage for what we call today culturally responsive teaching, and making sure that we tap into the talents and the innate gifts of our Black and brown kids. It's inspired me to go forth with my Brown Brilliance organization, not just affiliated with my name, but affiliated with the students' culture and where they come from and their background, and using that to tap into their great talents.
That is amazing. That is truly, truly awe-inspiring. Can you leave us with something tangible? Give us a quote or a saying that we can propel into our next episode.
Absolutely. In the words of Betty Shabazz, I wish you the power, the great power that lies in your intelligence and your strength.
That is amazing. Everyone else, thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing our next episode of 28 Days of Blackness.